Say you're a student who hasn't done anything, like you don't know anything about this subject, right? Like you know the basic stuff because you've gone to classes.
So today we're discussing last minute exam tips, and today we have someone very cool with us.
Popli!
Our friend
Yo, what's up?
See, this is proof that he's such a banger. And as far as our qualifications go, I have crammed for boards very last minute and got 96.4% in CBSE.
Personally, I didn't even study for preparatories. I directly studied for boards, so I am qualified. What about you?
I mean, my 4 years of high school, all I've done is last minute study, so
Yeah, plus you're like a DP2 now. So what I did was there's something called one shots for CBSE.
okay.
Yeah, where every single topic is explained within 6 hours.
Is that like a video? Or?
Yeah, one video.
Okay.
So I used to watch that one video the day before the exam and say we ball and just write the exam.
Yeah.
Because CBSE, it's not, half of it is competency based, so half of it is application based. And most of my studying was done during class because I'm very interactive during class, I'd say so.
Right.
So I didn't feel the need to go too in depth. But for boards, I had the pressure too, so I pulled out a lot of past papers also. So at night, I used to do the one shots, and in the morning, I used to do past papers and sleep during the day.
Go.
I flipped my sleep schedule during boards.
I think that's there for ICS. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's there for everything, bro. Especially
Ivy.
when you're in DP2, I don't think you're gonna get like a wink of sleep. I have a question. What do you guys like distinguish as last minute studying? Is it like 3 days before, a week before?
Depends on the exam. If it's like midterm, then like 2 days
Few
before.
hours before.
If it's midterm, then a day or two before. If it's finals, then like the longest time period I would give is like 5-6 days.
Yeah, I think for me it's like literally the night before.
Yeah.
The night before, oh god. What do you do at the night during the night before?
We get into that. So yeah, okay. Let me tell you what I use as my strategy to study last minute, right? Let's say you're a student who hasn't done anything, like you don't know anything about this subject, right? Like you know the basic stuff because you've gone to classes, and you find yourself in a situation where your exam is the next day.
Yeah.
And it's like 10 p.m. in the night, right?
Yeah.
So what can you as a person do? So what I do is, number one thing, you should never get into the situation. If you are, then you're cooked.
Oh yeah, disclaimer, we're not condoning cramming, we're just like telling you, just in case, as a last resort.
Just in case you get into the situation, just realize that you're in the situation, accept it, and then don't worry about what's going to happen in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like most people just like worry about what's going to happen, and that takes away from the study time or like what they can do to actually impact the situation they're in. So first thing, it's about the mindset. Just be calm, accept the situation you're in, and then what you do is you utilize all the tools you have, right? So I mean, we live in a generation where we have AI, we have everything at the tip of our fingers, right? So knowing how to utilize these tools is gonna take you a far way. Like,
Yeah, ChatGPT has saved me so much.
yeah, of course. Okay, so what I do with ChatGPT, it's pretty basic. First, okay, let's say we have a math exam, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no, let me take the, let's say we have a math exam. First, you need to know the type of exam you're preparing for. So either it's a quantitative exam, it's a theoretical exam. So it depends on how you're going to train the model, how you're going to train ChatGPT to help you, right? So what I do is I tell ChatGPT to assume a role. Like, let's say it's my advisor or my friend that's helping me in studying, right?
Yeah.
So what this does is it helps ChatGPT stay within the parameters of the role, so it can like it won't do extra and it won't do less. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that makes sense. Even for my I's and E's, I've done only that.
Yeah.
Haven't tried the assume the role thing, but I gave it exemplar IAs and exemplar E's and like asked it to grade it based on this and what what can I improve, what can I like remove and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you should train it usually on like 5 to 7 exemplaries or like exemplar whatever you're giving. Like if you have an English exam, then give it like exemplar paper ones. Train it to grade it. So if it gets close to whatever the actual grade was, you know that it's a decent authority to tell you what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
No, I just mainly just use it for like research. So I make like if I'm looking up something, it's mostly like I'll give the topic. it'll give me ideas on the topic. Once I select one, I will ask it to cite the things that it's using this information from.
Yeah.
And along with citing it, just tell at which point I should look for, so that I'll just read that para and go. Like, it saves so much time, especially when you have to submit something within a day, or you have to like know about that one particular topic in such a small amount of time. It's not exactly an exam tip, but then
Yeah, and then for the free users, stuff like I know people who keep every single IA ka ChatGPT ka this thing in a separate account.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, so then
Oh,
they get 4 for every single IA are pretty much unlimited, because how much are you going to use it realistically? You'll have enough for one prompt ka engineering. I give it as much info as I can. So my prompts are normally 200 to 300 words.
Yeah. You have to give it a lot of context,
Yeah.
so it's like optimal.
Otherwise, it's going to give me the most generic response I've seen.
when did you figure this out that like you were supposed to do this?
Bro, I think like end of 11th, 12th. Oh yeah, wait, I remember what I was gonna say. Okay, yeah, so for one of my physics exams, what I did was usually what most of the first to second questions in a physics past paper is a kinematics question, right? It's topic A question. What I did for that is I uploaded like 10 past papers. And I said, okay, so now you're going to help me study for this. So you're going to explain the concept to me. Then you're going to give a question and explain the answer for that. So you upload all of them and then it'll like parse through the documents and give you the specific questions for the topic.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go through every single past paper and find it yourself.
I mean, yeah, you could like give it a lot of documents and ask you to give the most repeated questions also.
Yeah.
I've done that for CBSE. Turbo Loan, I think it's called Turbo Loan. Where, okay, so for our CS, option A, we had the first topic as data versus information. I didn't read the PDF and we had a test the next day. What I did was I downloaded the PDF, uploaded to Turbo Loan, and had a podcast between Trump and Biden discussing data versus information. I aced that test.
Wait, is that actually like interactive? Like, is it like?
No, they don't like read the PDF. They paraphrase it and talk properly. Like you get the points, you understand it.
So it's interesting. Like,
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Guys, whatever you do, just read everything your teachers have given you. So
Yeah.
if they've given you a worksheet, I'm like 90% sure that they're gonna probably reuse like 2-3 questions from that.
Yeah, if it's
Especially
school
if
exam,
just
definitely.
last test.
School exam, but like what about boards?
Yeah, boards, I don't recommend that you get into that situation.
Boards, it's better to
Get into the situation of being
on time.
writing boards.
On time.
Yeah. Okay, wait. What's your opinion on studying with friends?
It depends.
Depends
Last
on the
minute, like you
friends.
have 3 days left, let's say.
3 days left. Okay, see, friends can hold you accountable, but that's only if they actually know how to lock in.
And they
Yeah.
need to have you need to have like similar subjects, right? Like so that you can like discuss
Yeah.
it and solve it quicker, like solve it faster. And then again, you need to be in that state of mind where you're like you have enough information to still follow up with the discussion that you're having with your friends, which sometimes doesn't work for me. Like if like all of us are there, like suddenly start discussing a sum. Sometimes I want no background information regarding that, so I can't follow with them. But sometimes I do, and then I just understand it. Like if 5 minutes, it would like reduce to like a minute or two. So
Yeah, like the I understand enough phase comes very fast.
I'll give you an example, like a quick anecdote. For my 10th grade mock 2s, or no, it was 10th grade mock 1s, I didn't know anything in math back then, right? It was a Saturday morning, and our math midterm was on Monday morning, right? And I didn't know anything about math at this point. Like it was genuinely cooked. I didn't know what a function was. I didn't know what trigonometry was. I think I was getting around a 7 out of 100. So it was like the most cooked I've ever been in my life. And then what I did was we made a Discord server. We hopped on a call, and we didn't leave that call until like Sunday night.
Wow.
And what we did was we studied every single mock midterm paper that they gave to us on this app called Assess Prep. We did all of them. We learned everything by ourselves. And what I realized was I couldn't have done this alone. So many, there were like 3-4 people, and they're like my closest friends. And whatever they didn't know, they were teaching me. Whatever I didn't know, I was teaching them.
Yeah, I did the same thing for boards, not to that extent, but like a couple hours, we had a whole drive full of past papers. I think it was totally 500 or 600 past papers.
Yeah.
So we ended up finishing 350 past papers
Whoa.
within 4 hours.
Within 4 hours.
Within 4 hours. Because instead of writing everything down, we someone told the answer, we cross-checked that answer while he was saying it. And for repeating questions, we just skip that question. So only unique questions we kept doing. So like 350 past papers easy.
Oh yeah, also one more thing, if you are studying in a group, you shouldn't like solve the past paper or whatever paper you have together. Like what I would recommend is do it by yourself and then discuss it with your friends.
Yeah, discussion is always much better in group studying, because if you solve it, then what's the point of the group study?
And
Yeah, but I feel like that was the one time that group studying actually worked for me. Because after that time, I got a 7 out of 7
Yeah.
for the first time in math, right? And then that was pretty helpful. And I thought, oh, maybe this will work later on too, right? And I tried the same thing for mock 2s in 10th grade. Didn't work at all.
I feel like group studying works the best for something like English, where you need to have multiple perspectives. History,
yeah.
English, any social science to an extent.
No, but then again, those subjects are also dependent on like your reading and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you have to read the text. You have to understand the context in which that like opinion or perspective is coming in. You can't fully do it like by solving questions. Like you have to know the background information.
Yeah, but like in English, if you have one essay topic, you'll have 5 different perspectives. Okay, so yeah, so these different perspectives, they don't just give you the idea of their perspective, but they give you ideas about your own interpretation of the text. They give you ideas on how to interpret it even further, how to have more depth in your analysis. So for English, I feel like group studying is a very good thing.
Unless it's the night before the exam.
Yeah, unless it's the night before exams, you don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I would say mostly if it's like if I'm in, like responsible enough to find out 2-3 days before the exam that I'm cooked. So what I'll do is for the day of the exam, I'll try to plan it so that I can get at least like proper sleep. So the day before that, I will like completely like exhaust myself, finish everything, especially when do task by task, and then I completely tire myself, go to sleep so that I get a lot of sleep and that like information registers and I remember stuff in the exam. Because there was once where I had gone to the exam with like some 2-3 hours sleep. Behind my eyes, I don't know how to explain it, but I could feel that like my brain wasn't working and I did so bad in that paper.
Yeah, before the exam, you have to sleep.
No, yeah, of course.
If you don't sleep, no matter how much you crammed, you're cooked.
Especially if it's a long exam, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna sleep in the exam if you're not prepared.
Exactly.
If you didn't sleep, yeah. So one thing that happened to me was for my final English IO, I was up for like 2 nights preparing, and like I thought I was pretty prepared, right? And I didn't sleep a wink. So I prepared the whole night and I went to school. I was there, and my brain was just fogged, like it wasn't working. I wasn't recalling any of the things that I had like memorized, any of the points that I was gonna talk about. And thankfully, my teacher was kind enough to give me like a day or 2 extension. And then I came I didn't do anything like the day after that, right? I just came the next day, I slept really well, and then I just automatically knew everything like magic. So
Yeah.
I think a good night's sleep is also very, very important.
Yeah, like have a bottle of water next to you during the exam.
Yeah.
Saved me so many times, because instead of thinking about the exam, I was thinking about my throat being so dry.
Like you should be like pretty relaxed when you're writing the exam. Like even though you have not studied, there'll be something that like a word or something that you remember from class from a long time, and
Yeah.
that suddenly will hit you if you're just calm like in the exam hall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about the mindset over everything.
Oh yeah. So I have this way of reading textbooks. I think I've told before, but
Yeah.
like it's more like I read the summary part of like in biology last year, and then now especially with the Oxford textbooks and everything. There's a lot to read. So I read the last part where they've given the synopsis or like not
The summary.
Yeah, the summary or the key, like
Yeah.
The
the
main point,
keywords.
main takeaways.
Read that, go to the beginning of the chapter, read the objectives, read through all the subtitles, and try solving the exercise. I know it sounds like a long process, but if you compare it to actually reading like 20-30 pages and trying to solve a question, which is like it's much more hard to do. So if you just know the subheadings and you can kind of like common sense your way through it, solve everything. If there is something you don't know, you can go and check it. So you're like covering the entire thing as fast as possible. But yeah, that's like if I have a lot of reading that I have to cover, that's where I go.
Yeah, like back to group studying again. Like I tend to associate things I learned through memories of my interaction with that learning, rather than the book itself.
Wait, that's crazy.
This is such
I
a
never thought of something like that.
Yeah, because
specific trigger.
all my memories that's why I'm very interactive in class for that sole reason, because those memories help me ace the exam, not the things I studied after school.
associating memories with like actual concepts, I think that's like really helpful. Especially if you like pay attention in class, you like understand what's going on and you're interactive. Then I don't think you're as cooked as if you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know anything about this subject.
Because you have an overview of the concept at least.
Yeah, like even if you like, can't solve questions, you have an overview, you know the concept. You just have to like practice a little bit, look at
Yeah.
the types of questions, form the patterns, and then
Okay, I feel like that's it.
But yeah, so that concludes this video. So if you can avoid cramming, please do. But because it's very energy consuming, and if you do it on a daily basis, you will burn out.
Definitely.
But if you have no other choice, make sure you get enough sleep. Hopefully, we helped.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Subscribe so you don't have to go to college.
Yeah, subscribe to Tweak IB.
Yes.
thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting. What an honor.